And welcome into another edition of Dashtown, a podcast about the businesses built by and for the people of Fuquay-Varina. And with me today, I have Leaja Horne of the Achievement Charter Academy. Leaja, welcome in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here and taking the time, although we can't do this face-to-face with the COVID world we live in and the quarantine and pandemics and shutdown. I hear you're staying pretty busy.
Oh, yes. Very, very busy. There's a lot to do to opening a new school, especially in these times.
This is a new school. You are launching a new academy here. Tell us a little bit about the Achievement Charter Academy, if you would.
I will. So let me just kind of start back with how it all began. My mother has owned a business in Fuquay-Varina since 1998, and that is Learning Time. And she hired me at the ripe age of 18 to work for her, and I've been working for her ever since. And we've, prepared hundreds of students for kindergarten through our program, both academically as well as social emotionally. And in 2009, we decided to open a private school for kindergarten. And over the years, that has grown to be K-12. And I've been the principal of that business since 2016. And the first time we started thinking about opening a charter was back in 2012. And we just wanted to offer this innovative, student-centered approach to all of the families in our community, not just families who could afford a private school education. So that year we applied, and unfortunately we did not receive the charter approval at that time. There's a charter school advisory board that interviews all of the potential schools, and those are the people who recommend you to the State Board of Education. So at that time, they did not move forward with us. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and, let that marinate a little bit. And then we started looking towards the future, and we decided to, after being encouraged by many people, families, community, as well as the Charter School Advisory Board to come back, we went back to the application, we made improvements, we kind of built on what we had originally worked with as our concept. And in 2018, we prepared another application, which was approved by the Charter School Advisory Board. So this has been a long time coming.
6 years later.
Yes. We took some time. We took some time to really think through what we needed to do and make sure that we were prepared. And during that time, it had in the past, in 2012, my mother was the board chair. So she had stepped down, and I kind of came into that leadership role as both the board chair and the future school leader. So it has been since 2018 when they first approved our application, and they recommended us to the State Board of Education in June of 2019. And that's when the State Board of Education approved us to open in fall of 2020. So this year, since that time in June 2019, we're in what we call our ready to open year, where we're preparing all our policies, our procedures, we're hiring, we're just doing all of the things that come along with starting a school, which are a lot of things, I will tell you.
Now, how many students do you expect to have in the fall if
we're
everything is under normal circumstances?
Right. We're kindergarten to fifth grade. So we are still going to be a small school. 162 is our first year projection. And that is about 2 classes of all the grades and then an additional class of kindergartners. So eventually, when we're at the end of year 5, we would have 2 classrooms per grade level. So we'd still be small. 259 is our end of the 5th year projection. But they give you a charter for 5 years. So that's kind of how you have to plan out your growth and show them exactly what you're going to do during those 5 years.
Well, I know that school assignment has always been an issue in Wake County. People always seem to have some debate. It's pretty contentious each year as they sort of reassign students. And people now have more choices and options, it seems like, with where they're able to send their kids to school, with more charter schools being available. What differentiates your school or any school from each other and guiding that options that a parent would choose?
Right. So I'll speak to charter schools, because charter schools we are public schools. So we are funded, by tax dollars, and we are free to any student that wants to attend, and we are not limited by where those students live. So if a child lives in Harnett County and they want to go to our school, which we are actually located in Harnett County right over the line, they are welcome. If they live in Wake County, they are welcome. Johnston County, anywhere in North Carolina, you can apply to a charter school. So we're not bound by those same type of restrictions as traditional public schools. We also have the flexibility in our curriculum. So we are not mandated by the district as to what we use to teach our students. We're still accountable to the state for our achievement. So we still have to perform well on our end of grade testing. That's something that we still have to do just like traditional public, but the way we get to that point is up to the board of directors, which is the group of people. I'm the board president right now. Of course, I have to step down when I become the principal, but that board of directors, which is community members, make those types of decisions that are best for our school. And our design, which is called the Glasser Quality School Model, is what makes us different. And this is a model that's based on a theory of human behavior. So this theory uses both social emotional pieces as well as academics to teach students to be self-directed learners. And what that means is they take responsibility for their learning. There's a lot of collaboration in the classroom, not just with their peers, but also with the teacher as to how to incorporate their interests and really make the learning experience meaningful to them. We believe that in order for students to reach their full potential, they have to find that learning adds value to their life and it's meaningful. And once they do that, they are able to reach their full potential. So that's what makes us different, specifically the model that we're using.
And do you feel this provides a real benefit to the children over the traditional public school model?
I can't say that it's over. I can say that it's different. So
Okay.
a school of choice is just that. We are a public school and we're an option. What we offer is not going to resonate with every single person. And that's why charter schools are a great addition, because it's a different choice and it's an alternative. And if people are seeking something different, then we have that to offer. And each charter school is individual in the way that they do that. So it really, I wouldn't say better, I would say different.
It seems like the process of getting approved and getting the charter is pretty time intensive. What kept you motivated during that period of time?
Whew. Well, I would say, my personal why keeps me motivated. And that is creating something that is a learning community. My personal experience with education is kind of what drives me to do this work. And I dropped out of high school. I always made A's and B's in school. And then in my sophomore year of high school, my father committed suicide. And I mean, I'm a parent now. I can't imagine because I was the child in that situation. But, children are going through the same types of challenges and hardships that we are as adults, but they don't know how to process everything. We have a rise in students who are, anxious and depressed and have all sorts of other things going on. We have bullying in our schools. And I believe that it's important to offer support to our students for whatever it is that they need. So you cannot just separate the social emotional piece from the academics. I think it all has to come together, and we have to be a family and really support one another. So my personal why keeps me going. Creating that, that environment is my dream. And my family keeps me going because I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without their support. And of course, the team that I have in the community that rallies behind me. So all of these things keep me motivated. I had a mentor who said not very long ago, he says, there's going to be 100 times between now and August where you say, why am I doing this? So you better really know why. And you better be, strong in that conviction, because it is very challenging, but so worth it. The reward is just, beyond what you can imagine.
The model that you said your school follows is that combination of educational and social emotional. What did you say the name of that was?
It's called the Glasser Quality School Model. And the reason why it's so different is because there's a lot of social emotional curriculums out there, a lot of character and leadership building type of curriculums, and they are good and they offer wonderful things. The problem I see is that none of them, other than this one that I have found, really integrates it into every fiber of the school environment. So it's not just a social emotional curriculum and an academic curriculum. They literally go together, and it's about how the teachers and students are communicating with one another, how the staff is communicating with one another, and how we're communicating with the families as well as with the community. So all of that is in everyday classroom environments, everyday interactions, and it becomes part of all of our journeys to be the best that we can be. And that is directly related to academics, and how if we want our students to create this product that is the best work that they can do, then they have to really want that. And so really kind of integrating those things is what this model offers.
When you talk
Sorry.
about social and emotional, no problem at all. It seems like, interaction with children a lot of times is on a sheerly educational basis, and you're going into deeper levels. So is there a lot more connection with the students in your mind with this model? And in your opinion, do you feel like you have more interaction and deeper emotional connections with the children then?
Yes, and I should have stated the mission at the very beginning of this. So let me go ahead and state the mission for you.
Please.
ACA's mission is to foster individual achievement by teaching students to be self-directed learners and community contributors in a respectful, diverse, and inclusive learning environment. So one of the purposes of this model is to build relationships based on trust and respect. And that is part of the interaction on a daily basis. And a lot of times, we expect students to, and I'm just speaking in education in general, to do what they're asked to do, when they're asked to do it. And, when behavior problems occur, we have this list of consequences that we go through. But we never really teach them how to address why it is that they're behaving in the way that they are. And so this model really encourages that dialogue between the teacher and student. And this doesn't have to take a long time. This can take, 5-10 seconds in an interaction. But really trying to help the student identify what need they're trying to meet and a more appropriate way to meet it. So instead of just, brushing over, I should say, some behaviors, ignoring them, letting them build, or just creating a consequence that doesn't really change the person, we miss out on an opportunity to help them really make meaningful change, because none of us change because of what someone else wants us to do. We change because there's a reason for us to change internally. So this really creates that opportunity for a person to learn how to make change that is meaningful to them, that will actually be real change.
So let me ask you, are you focusing, is your target those students who may have felt like they've slipped through the cracks, or are having those kind of emotional problems, or is it fostering a more healthy relationship for anyone that may be looking for an alternative to the traditional public school model?
It's really for all students, and it works for all students, and it works for all people. Just because we're adults and we made it through school doesn't mean we wouldn't have had a really great experience if we had that more connected environment. And not only does it allow for students who are right on target to keep going there and learn a lot of new things, or students who are behind to have that remediation, it kind of meets them where they are. But for the students who are ahead, they're able to excel. We have multi-age classrooms, and by using this design, we're not teaching to a grade, we're teaching to the student. So if a student is in second grade and they're on a fourth grade reading level, then they're not going to have to read the same thing as someone that is on a second grade reading level. They're going to be able to take it as far as they can go. And so, it will work well with all students, and it is for anyone who's looking for that alternative to traditional, and someone who wants their child to be motivated internally and really find their full potential. Just because a student makes A's does not mean they cannot do better than that. That means they know how to make an A, and they learn how to make an A because we put these parameters around them to say you have to do XYZ to make an A. And so that's what they do, but they don't do their best work. And so this is really about teaching people to perform and do quality work that's the best that they can do, and only they can really evaluate what that is.
Yeah, Had a conversation with my own son that school is kind of two parts. One part is knowing the information and another part is knowing what somebody wants to hear. And I think, unfortunately, it's sometimes he's good at the knowing what somebody else wants to hear, and,
Yeah.
and has slipped by that way. And he knows the information. He's a smart kid, but there's definitely a balance there. And it sounds like through the balance that you're trying to strike at the Achievement Charter Academy, you're trying to foster that emotional well-being, as well as, of course, the mental aptitude and the educational advancement. So
Exactly. It's really a balance. That's a
yeah.
great word.
Achievement Charter Academy. It's a new school launching, hopefully everything back to normal fall of 2020. This will be your first year. Tell us a little bit again about where you see things going and how people can find out more.
Okay, well, from now until that time, we are busy getting ready. We're writing a lot of our policies. We're going to have policies just like everyone else is required to have to report to the State Board of Education about the different possibilities in the fall with the COVID situation and remote learning and all that. We are a public school, so we have to follow those same guidelines that they set out for us to have all of these different options and situations figured out before we start school. So we're working on that now. You can visit the website, which is achievementcharteracademy.org. We also have a Facebook page if you want more information. We have a weekly Zoom meeting on Tuesdays at 5:30 for any parents, whether they be enrolled or just interested, where I go through kind of the basics and then we open it up for questions. I have teachers on those calls as well as board members. So that I invite you to join. It's also on the website on the events page. It's every Tuesday, same link. I would encourage you to do that if you have an interest.
K through 5.
K through 5. Mm-hmm.
All right. And how many students are you expecting in the fall?
162, and we currently have 96 enrolled. So we have spaces and we are trying to fill those spaces.
And then what is the end goal capacity?
The end goal capacity at the end of 5 years would be 259.
All right.
And past that, we will see. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, wonderful. Online, achievementcharteracademy.org, on Facebook, weekly meetings if you are interested, where teachers, charter board members, and Leaja Horne, who upcoming principal of the school.
Yes, sir.
Correct? All right.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well, again, Leaja Horne with the Achievement Charter Academy joining us today on Dashtown. And Leaja, we definitely appreciate the time and hope to help you get the word out.
Thank you. It's Leaja. Sorry.
Leaja.
But so close, so close. It's hard. It's hard to learn. I know. You have to do it a bunch of times.
Well, good meeting you here as best we can through technology. But I do hope to have you in Leaja in person once the quarantine and the shutdowns all sort of get back to normal.
Thank you. I would really like that. And I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Leaja Horne of the Achievement Charter Academy. Good to have you here on Dashtown.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Bye.